Okay, here we go. It's Liz again. Um, and if you're wondering why it all looks the same in the background, it's because I'm filming this all in one continuous uh, segment so that I don't lose the flow. I've meditated on this and had to find that inner peace and strength to do this because this is difficult and I don't really like to share, as I've said before. Don't really like people. I don't trust people. I've been betrayed so much and lied to and deceived and backstabbed that it's like, yeah, I'm not talking to you or anybody else for that matter. But yeah, I don't like people. So this is why I'm doing it all at once. It's because this is I've had found my strength and found a peace within me to speak. As I said before in the last video, my childhood and my that was my formative years. The life was just a horror show. Betrayal from my friends, family, hatred, anger, revenge, just rage. I was an angry woman. Now, as I got into college, my first semester in college, I made the mistake of rooming with my best friend, and because they didn't have room then, there was a third person, and they were cramming us in like sardines. I'm surprised there wasn't like 15 of us in there. But I was at university my first semester, and she betrayed me once, and she betrayed me again with this new person. This new person and I didn't get along really well. I liked her. I thought we were good, but in reality, she was bad mouthing behind my back and causing problems. And God, that was just a nightmare, a total mess. My first year of college was a horror. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. I mean, it just all fell apart for me. I thought this was going to be my defining moment when I would finally break free, but instead, it was just awful. It's just awful. And then back home, unbeknownst to me, because I would call my dad up and I would tell him, he can't believe what's happening. Me and my friend aren't getting along. We have this other person in there that we're not getting along with. Things are just a horrible mess. I wasn't doing well in college. God, I think I was only getting like C's. I think I failed a class too. But it was horrible. It was a nightmare. God, I was getting yelled at by this one lady because of my alarm clock. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm not stupid and lazy and laying my ass in bed until noon before I go to class. I had an 8 a.m. class. So I was up, getting ready, and being bitched at about it constantly. I mean, she was threatening to break my alarm. I mean, she was just a bitch. God, I forgot all about that until I just spoke about it. Maybe this is a good thing I'm talking about it because now I'm bringing up all these little hurts that I had either forgotten or just pushed aside. I guess I get to deal with that now. Feel it and let it go. But yeah. So when I came home in January, because I wasn't staying there. And the funny thing is that we all left. We all came back home. It was such a horrible experience for all of us because none of us got along. I sort of repaired my relationship with my friend. We came home, and when I came home, it was to my father um, being ill, being sick. I wasn't there to care for him. I wasn't there to make sure he took his medication. And I used to take his cookies away too, because he'd buy giant packages of those, like they're not the off-brand Oreos. I don't know what they're called. I don't really eat cookies. But I would find them, take them away, because he's diabetic. I'd make sure he was eating right, or at least I tried to, taking his medication. But when I left, it just all fell apart for him. It's like my father was holding on until the last kid was out of there, and that was me. And it all fell apart. His whole life fell apart. My life fell apart even more. He had gotten a corn on the bottom of his foot, and he had pulled it out himself instead of going to the doctor. Because I made sure he went to the doctor. Made sure he went to the VA, but he went and pulled it out himself, and then soaked it in a dirty tub that my mother used to scrub, and she, my mother wasn't gonna care for him. She didn't give a shit. She was always, I hope you die. She was really awful. But come to find out that he had gotten so infected that he got gangrene in it. It went all the way up his leg. They had to amputate from just beneath the knee down. So that was my homecoming. My homecoming. It was awful. I just remember sitting up there when my father had to have his leg cut off, sobbing. Just sobbing. I was so distraught. And it was just me all by myself. I don't remember my brothers or my sister being there. I didn't really want to be around any of them anyway. Or my mom. Especially not my mom. And I remember just going into a room all by myself and sobbing, crying. Just rendering sobs. Breath-stealing sobs. Because I knew that this was the beginning of the end for him. I knew that he would never be the same and that he would lose all sense of self, and he did. And I berated myself. I had this gift, and I didn't see it. I didn't see him getting sick. Not until I got home and got into his close proximity did it all hit me, because I was so entangled with the, and you can just imagine what it's like for an empath being in a room with people that don't like you. I could feel it. The hatred, the anger from my roommates. It was awful. It was like drowning every single day. Getting no sleep, nothing. It was awful. And then coming home to that, I just left all that emotional baggage behind. And then this. Oh my God. It was like someone had thrown me into the Mariana Trench. Holy crap. It was suffocating. And I just knew it. That was the day that I said goodbye to my father. He didn't die. No, he didn't die. He had, I think, 2 or 3 grand mal strokes and several smaller strokes. And the care he got at the VA was deplorable. The surgery had created a clot in his leg. And of course it traveled up. He wasn't in good health anyway. And the surgery was kind of like an emergency thing. We got to do this before you lose even more of your leg. Besides, they were kind of in the business of, if it doesn't look good, just chop it off. Okay. But yeah, he didn't get good care. He was sent up to a rehabilitation center up by the VA, and he had suffered a stroke. And they didn't even tell us. They didn't even know, actually. They didn't even check on him. It was my brother. He went up there to see him. Oh my God, he's like, there's something wrong with my dad. Have you checked him? Well, he's recovering. No, he's not recovering. It was thanks to him that they went in there and found out that he had another grand mal stroke. So then it was no longer a matter of recovery, him learning to walk, to get up on his feet and walk. That never happened again. They failed him in so many ways. See, this is why, we really need to take better care of our veterans. Because it affects families. It affects lives. It's so devastating. I still try, whenever I have stuff that I want to get rid of, like older clothes or old used furniture stuff, I like to give it to the DAV. That's a thrift store. Because the proceeds go to fund disabled American veterans. Which, Anyway, I destroyed him. For a while there, he wasn't sure who I was. Because, the stroke had kind of scrambled his brains a whole lot. It took him a while he kept calling me Bev, which is my aunt. He kept calling me her. Because apparently I look like her or something. I don't think I really do, but I look more like my dad. A little bit. I kind of have my mom's smile. I just realized that a while back that I kind of look like my mom too. um, but anyway, yeah, he was gone. I'd lost my support system. The one person who was rooting for me, the one person I could depend upon, the one person I always knew I could go home to. He was gone. He was just gone. You want to talk about the earth shifting under me? Yeah, yeah. It shifted hard, and not in a good way. It was like Vesuvius going off. So he finally came home. My mom didn't want to take care of him. She had started drinking even heavier, so it was me at home. I had rolled, I was already, excuse me, confirmation burp there. I was already enrolled in school back in college at my local community college. I couldn't go back up there. That was just too much. Plus, I was dealing with my dad, and I would have to get up like 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure that he had food and he had his medication. Sometimes I'd have to run home in the middle of the day to make sure he had lunch because my mom wasn't. I could fix the lunch beforehand. Something for him to eat. She wouldn't warm it up. She wouldn't do jack shit. I'm not getting stuck taking care of that bastard, that son of a bitch. I mean, she was just the most foul-mouthed things come out of her. I wish he just died on that operating table. I mean, that's what she said. It was terrible. It was absolutely awful. And it got to the point, though, that I was getting exhausted. My grades were kind of in a disarray. I mean, they were okay. I was getting like B's and C's. But it wasn't my standard. It wasn't the best that I could do because I was, college was a whole new kettle of fish for me. And taking care of my father, who was now an invalid. His brain didn't work right. Never, ever recovered from that. Never recovered. Never, never, never. He was bedbound. My mom was the one who was responsible for changing him because that was just it. I just couldn't change my dad. I couldn't change the diaper on him. Okay, I just couldn't. That was just that was my hard line there. Okay, I was now 19 and trying to deal with this. Oh my God, it was awful. So then I came home one day. I came home and my dad's gone. My mom's drunk. And I'm like, where's Dad? And she's like, that son of a bitch is gone. And I'm like, no, I'm thinking, the first thing I thought was, did you kill him? Have the police been called? And come to find out that she didn't want to change him. This is January. This was shortly after he had come home. And she took him and placed him outside in a diaper in January in a wheelchair to freeze to death. Who does that? My mother was completely psychotic, deranged. And she called my brother to come and pick him up, to come and get him. But of course my brother freaked out. My brother came over. He's like, holy shit. He took my dad, thank God. At least she called somebody. I'm thinking she killed him, lied to the police. The ambulance is already taken away to the morgue. And the worst things pop into your head because people. I just knew. I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell did she do? Did she poison him? Did she stab him? I mean, what? Did she make it look like an accident? But no, she just called my brother to come get him. And so my brother took him, and he went to live with my brother. What a mess. I was a mess. I was a complete and utter mess. And he wanted me to come over and take care of him over there. And I'm like, I'm trying to go to school. I don't have a job. I'm dealing with my psychotic mother, and he wants me to come over there with, and he married a woman that was just totally dysfunctional too. Dysfunction upon dysfunction upon dysfunction. They wanted me to come into that chaos. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And it was just a no. My father, to me, was gone. The person who talked to me about history that I could sit on the couch with and cuddle up next to and get hugs and the man that I admired, that I loved, that kept me protected from my mother was gone. Somewhere deep in his mind, I'm sure he existed, but to me, he was gone. To me, when he no longer knew who I was, could no longer really truly recognize me. I mean, he recognized me, yes, but he was gone. And then once he was over at my brother's house, things just got worse between my brother and I. I mean, it's not like we ever had a good relationship anyway, but yeah, it just went downhill. He wanted me to come over there and take care of him because he had kids and a wife, and he was trying to work, and I'm just like, I cannot deal with this. I cannot deal with this. I'm still trying to go to college. I'm still trying to get my degree. And this went on for like 3 years, this whole back and forth between him and me, my dad. And I didn't go over there because I just couldn't stand to be around him. I loved my brother. I did, but I couldn't stand to be around that chaos. It was too much. And he never did understand that. It was something he still held a grudge against. He still holds that grudge against me. He still holds it there. And I can understand that. But really, it was too much. It was just too much. That was an event in my life that just destroyed me. Tore me to pieces. Just tore me to pieces. Trying to go to school, dealing with her. And eventually I got back up to the university I was going to try and finish my degree. But even that, when I finally tried to get that done, if I came home on the weekends to do laundry or something, I may not be able to get into the house. She may have decided to change the locks on me. I'd be sleeping in my car. Or, can I stay at your house for just like, can I sleep here tonight? I'll be gone in the morning. Maybe she'll let me in the morning. That was my life. At the age of 14, I had run away. Well, I went next door to live with my older brother, my eldest brother, for a while. That didn't work out well either. I didn't run very far. It was still a mess. And I ended up moving back there because, I just didn't get along. I was angry. I didn't get along with his wife either, my eldest brother's wife. I loved her. I always thought she was wonderful. But we just couldn't live together, She was, I came over there to live, and she thought she was just going to fix it all, and, it didn't work. So trauma upon trauma upon trauma upon trauma. Boom, 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 and boom. Okay, we're getting kind of long in the tooth here. We're at 18 minutes and 52 seconds. So, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The misery of college, the misery of losing my dad, because that was a huge moment in my life. That was such a huge moment. And no, I didn't finish college. Not then anyway. Not then. But more the next time. More for the next time. I know this is probably so long, but it does need to be said. For whatever reason. Maybe it's just for me. Maybe it's what my spirit guide wanted me to do because they knew that it would heal me, free up some space inside my head. Anyway, love, blessings, and joy to you all. And thank you. I love you.